Exactly 2 months after Osama bin Laden was killed, elements of his Al Qaeda network are now joining forces to keep his campaign of terror alive. We're learning about a merger of sorts between Al Qaeda militants in Yemen and those in neighboring Somalia. Our Pentagon correspondent Barbara Starr has some exclusive details. Barbara, tell us what you know.
Well, we've been digging for the last several days, and now several U.S. officials tell us that indeed they have intelligence that convinces them that Al Qaeda in Yemen and the Al Qaeda related group in next door Somalia are joining forces to try and plan attacks against Europe and the United States. And you need to look front and center here at the Pentagon. The new Secretary of Defense, Leon Panetta, and David Petraeus, when he gets to the CIA in a few weeks, they will make this top on the agenda. We are told there will be counterattacks. There already have been, in fact, continuing secret wars, if you will, in both countries. Drone attacks, special operations, covert missions. Look for all of it to continue. I want to show everyone the map so we get a clear picture here of what we are talking about. These two countries, Somalia and Yemen, next door to each other, two of the most unstable countries in the world. The Al Qaeda in Yemen group expanding its efforts along with Al Qaeda in Somalia. We are told what they are looking at is expanding their ability for training camps, resourcing, planning, financing, all of it, aiming at attacking the West. Moving beyond just, Wolf, having the ideas and the aspirations, but trying to do it. We already see a lot of unrest in both of these countries. Now, Leon Panetta, his first day on the job here at the Pentagon, but he has already talked to Congress about both these countries and his concerns. Regarding Somalia, just a few weeks ago, he told Congress that this Al Qaeda movement in Somalia, quote, is significant and on the rise in the threat to their threat being posed to the United States. And next door in Yemen, he talked about that Al Qaeda group as well, saying, quote, that group has made tactical gains in tribal areas, in several cases seizing and holding territory outside the Republic of Yemen government control. So again, Wolf, we're talking about two countries, Al Qaeda on the rise, no government ability to really control it. Look for the United States to continue its secret wars in these countries to try and contain Al Qaeda.
A whole new chapter unfolding right now. Barbara, thank you. The outgoing National Director of Counterterrorism is warning that Al Qaeda terrorists in Yemen and Somalia are active and they are plotting right now against the United States. In an exclusive interview, Michael Leiter says overall the bin Laden network is weaker than it's ever been before, but, and it's an important but, he tells our own CNN correspondent Gene Meserve, the enemy still is out there and America is not yet safe.
The most active, threatening affiliate of Al Qaeda today is in Yemen.
And with the collapse of the government there, what does that mean?
Well, any area where there's not a strong level of government authority absolutely does make it more susceptible to terrorist plotting. And in that respect, although the government of Yemen is still a good partner in many ways, they're obviously focused on many issues right now. And we have been more concerned about Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula because of that.
Do you see the safe haven there expanding?
I think Al Qaeda has taken advantage of some of the disruption, especially in the south of the country, and that's a real concern for us.
Let's talk about the state of Al Qaeda right now and America's war on terror with our national security contributor, Fran Townsend. She's the former Bush Homeland Security Advisor. She's also on the external advisory boards of both the CIA and the Department of Homeland Security. Fran, this alliance between Al Qaeda in Yemen and Somalia, how much of a security threat to the United States is it?
Well, Wolf, remember, we've heard a good deal from the FBI about their concerns about Somalia being a sort of a magnet, attracting Americans to Somalia, to the fight. Now, the FBI is also quick to say they haven't seen them come back, but they're fighting in Somalia, and because of the proximity that Barbara Starr points out between Yemen and Somalia, it's easy for them to transit in boats called dhows, little local boats that can cross over that short water distance to Yemen, where they can collaborate, they can plan, they can train, and they can exchange fighters to assist each other and back each other up. No question that Al Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula, the Yemen group, is the greatest threat to the United States. Those are the bomb makers that were responsible for the Christmas Day attempted bombing and the computer cartridges attempt. So this is a very active group with real capability.
We're going into a July 4th holiday weekend. How concerned should Americans be? How alert should they be as a possible, in this post-Bin Laden world, a possible attempt at terror against America?
You know, Wolf, nobody in the U.S. government has been talking about any specific threat tied to the 4th of July. But, of course, large public gatherings are always an attractive target for terrorists. And so what I would say to Americans is you've always got to be alert. And it's the old, you know, as they say in New York, see it or, if you see it, say it. Look, if you see something suspicious, tell a policeman or someone in authority so they can investigate it.
Is there a growing trend now in this post-Bin Laden world of cooperation among these various groups, these al-Qaeda groups, whether in Yemen, Somalia, or elsewhere? I suspect there are a lot more al-Qaeda operatives in Yemen and Somalia right now than there are in all of Afghanistan.
You may very well be right about the numbers, Wolf. You know, we've seen affiliations. Al-Qaeda in the Islamic Maghreb, that's North Africa, had a formal affiliation with the Al-Qaeda core in the tribal areas. And so these groups have always sort of seen some strength in these alliances. But instability is the key here, Wolf, where you see instability in places like Libya and Yemen and Syria. You worry about Al-Qaeda and its affiliates, because in chaos, they can take advantage of that situation, those ungoverned spaces, to recruit, train, and plan. And so all of these governments in chaos represent a threat for us.
There's a new head of the National Counterterrorism Center. The president today nominated Matthew Olson. What do you know about him?
Matt Olson's a career guy, Wolf. He's worked across multiple administrations. I, of course, had the opportunity to work with him during the Bush administration. He served both at the FBI then and also later at the Justice Department and the National Security Division. Well respected by law enforcement, gained some national security and intelligence experience over at the Justice Department. Don't know about his relationship with the president, but that's less important in the Counterterrorism Center. What's important is that he has credibility in the interagency, and I think he's spent enough time in government as a career official that he'll have that. And so he's probably a pretty good choice. I expect he won't have a problem getting confirmed.
And we'll have more with Michael Leitner, his interview with Gene Meserve coming up later here in the Situation Room. Thanks very much, Fran.